Hey, welcome to another edition of AK Option Trader. I am he, and I'm with you again for another Sunday edition of the show. So let's jump right into her. Honestly, I had a hard time getting started today. It's 70-some degrees here, which is rare for AK this time of year. So kids are playing outside. I need to be outside, so let's get this bad boy done until we get some trading tomorrow. Let's look at the VIX. We'll start with the VIX like we usually do. I left all my studies on here and everything because I've been just kind of trying to figure out what's going on. You can tell, been reading the blog, I've been a little baffled by the whole VIX thing, which is usually a really good indicator for me. Right now you can see we are in a little bit of an uptrend, actually in a little bit of a wedge here with this line and this line on top. We've hit this bottom line twice now, whether we're going to bounce up and retest it. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen. But we are beneath this main 3780 line, which I said was major support. And we did hang around it. And I'm wondering if we're going to test it again. One thing to look for, the indicators are all pretty low, which would signal that we are needing to do an up move. They don't like to stay down beneath zero too long. This one dipped down real deep here before we came back up. So I'd be looking for maybe a bounce. Let's watch this trend line. If it holds, if it breaks, I would say that's bullish for the market. If it holds, it's bearish for the market. It is that plain and simple. Okay, so let's pop on over to the Dow. The Dow, you can see we had this wedge here we've been watching for a while. All right, and it was a huge wedge, huge wedge. You can see where it consolidated here really good. We broke out to the top of the wedge, and now we're kind of sitting on that up trend line right here. A lot of wicks, a lot of indecision. A lot of volatility, okay? So it looks like this uptrend line is going to hold. So this is what I'd be watching. But something else to look at. Let's take these off here for a second. This line right here, this line is offering really solid resistance. Real solid resistance. We're not wanting to break it, not wanting to get near it. Would not be surprised to see us move back up and test this again before we break down beneath this. If we pop above it, we're going to have to be bearish, people, because we're going to make a new higher high off of this here. And we not just put a wick above it, but close above it. If we hit it and go down, then that would be pretty bullish, or bearish. I mean, up above bullish, beneath bearish, obviously. You can see it's trending like I've said before. We're kind of just blah. We had this nice up move. Everything's just kind of turning to the side now. So it's definitely not as strong as up move as we had before. Here's the S&P 500, still in that uptrend, up in that channel, playing right along that 50, that midline on it. We are on a strong fib line up near the top. We have 1, 2, 3 tested it 3 times, haven't broke through. To me, that usually signals that we're going to drop off of it. Look at here, we only tested it once and dropped. Here we tested it once and really dropped. All right, so be watching for that. If we bounce down, we could see a drop down to here and maybe bounce up to try to break it again. But I'd be looking for a drop off this fib. So I would say that is a little bearish, but it's fickle. It's not a strong signal either way. Still have this big gap here on the NASDAQ, which hasn't been filled, which I don't think will be filled for a little while anyway. We got a gap right here, which got filled over here much sooner. And then we've got gaps all over the area in here. So we have lots of reversal signals in this thing, but they're not doing nothing. I mean, they're not proper reversal signals like up in here, over here. They're in the uptrend, but they are all over, and it shows a lot of indecision. So here's one here. You can see right here, and we're still right near the middle 50% line here on this thing. So we could go either way. It looks like we're going to go down and test this and bounce back up, bounce back up. So I'm going to have to be bullish on the NASDAQ until we break through this line here with small moves. So, which I think is coming. Overall in the market, I am bearish. Overall, I don't see a reason for this rally. It baffles my mind why we're rallying. All this false hopes and these earning beats. I think May 7th we're going to see something. We're going to see something interesting. Of course, the government's running the stress test, so they can do whatever they want with the numbers. But be cautious. I don't think things are as good as everybody wants to make them out to be. I really don't. If you look at the EMinis here, this is one of the ones I watch intraday, especially, and every day. You can see these are my intraday indicators. I'm watching the moves. I'll put it on a 60-minute chart or something like that. These aren't updated, by the way, so don't use these for tomorrow. I haven't updated them yet. Same thing in the NAS. We're just moving in this channel here. Beautiful channel. We're right on the middle line right now. So we could go either way. We could bust through either way. We're on some resistance right here on this fib, so wouldn't be surprised to see a drop on here. All right? All right, so let's move on to some stocks now. Now that you guys are on board with me, we're basically saying nothing. This is one I talked about last week. I really like it. CMTL is the play. I'm going to put the indicators on just to show that we are overbought big time and we're high on everything, trending down. We've covered the gap, filled the gap, starting to trend down. You know, we might hang out a few days like this, but I'd be looking for this thing to drop. So that would be a put play on CMTL. All right, make that pretty clear. Here's one I haven't put up before. This is new. I just found this one. VRTX. VRTX. We're in a wedge right here on VRTX. Wedge. VRTX looking for a breakout, but we're playing this thing pretty good right here. I'm thinking we're going to come back down here and maybe bounce up and actually break up on this one. If you go back and look, let's go back and look in the 5-year here. See, you can see a little bit more. It looks a little bullish to me here. We are down low a little bit on the indicators. We're right in the middle, so it could go either way, which makes sense. You can see we tried to fill this whole thing on the weekly. Let's go back to a daily chart here. We tried to fill this whole thing, and we're coming back down. I expect we're going to get down to the 2750 area before we bounce, but I expect this line to hold. It's a pretty good trend line. I mean, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 good touches on there, so, and only 2 on the down line. So I'd expect the bottom trend line to hold on that. Again, that was VRTX. ADSK, AUTOdesk. Let's go back to the 1 year on AUTOdesk. Okay, here we are on AUTOdesk. You can see where we broke this downtrend line, and boy, it was good. We came back, retested. It's a great place to go long right here. Boom, and it worked out good. Now we've got AUTOdesk. We've got basically a little bit of an inverted head and shoulders going on here. So this line here will be our baseline. If we close above this 1963, we'll say right up in this area here. If we close up in this area here, which is going to be 20 bucks, right in a 20 buck area, I would stay bullish on this thing, at least going up to the 200 moving average and see how that holds. So if we break beneath it, I would be bearish, especially if it comes up and retests it, and then it'll drop like a rock. Okay, so that's ADSK AUTOdesk. That's one to watch for the week. AWI, Armstrong World Industries. This one here, we got a downtrend going up here. What I like about this, let me show you this. Now I'm no Elliott wave expert. I dabble a little bit, but when I pulled this up, it looked like a real classic Elliott wave one to me here. So this couldn't be wave. This has to be wave 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, guess what? Elliott wave's got 5, so we're going to be dropping down into here. All right, so it looks like one that is going to fall. I just like the way it's been making lower highs, lower lows, just a classic channel down wave pattern. So I'd be looking for this bad boy to drop. You can see it's overbought. Everything's high. Should be turning around to head on way down. Just had earnings, so we don't have to worry about that. So I could see this one moving down. That's AWI. And let's go with one more here. STZ, Constellation Brands Inc. This one is another down channel. Now this one's a little bit curious because we got a pretty strong support here, and you can see we bounced off it a couple times. Clearly in a down channel. Just a beautiful down channel. So I'm looking for us. We got a nice reversal signal here. Low G star coming up here. I'm looking for us to drop, and let's see what happens here. I could play down that 60 cents, but testing this 3 times. If we bounce, I'm going to say this is going to hold long term. We're going to break through the channel. I'm wondering if it's not going to break. I wonder if we're not going to break this 1083 level or 1077 level. So that's what I'm looking at on this one. If we break it, it's going to be a pretty strong fall. Let's throw a couple fibs up there just to see what we're looking at here. Let's go from the peak and get an idea here. So, it's not coinciding with any fibs or anything like that, but I could see a pretty strong breakthrough here. Pretty easy. We're testing it twice. Doesn't seem like it wants to rally. I mean, it's trying to make a higher high right here, a new high right here, but it just did not pull it off. So that's one I'd keep an eye on for that. If I take this off, you can see did not close above that. Right there is the range it would have to close above, and it could not do it. So that's 1166. So that's one to watch. Not a huge move, but I think potentially it has the ability to be a huge move. Anyway, so that's it for now. I know it was a quick one. Like I said, I need to get outside and enjoy some of this sun. So overall, I'm still bearish. There's lots of bullish strength right now. So let's watch for some of those. I'll put a whole bunch on Twitter. Any plays they get in or out, I'll try to remember. Anything new I see during the week, I'll put on the blog. This will be the AK Option Trader signing out. Thanks for joining me. Trade well and prosper.
to the place